Welcome to the Vulnerable Room. Hey everybody, and welcome on back to the Vulnerable Room. I'm back, y'all, season 4, okay? I am so happy to be sitting in this chair, much lighter than I ended season 3 on. So we have lots to catch up on, and I can't wait to share some life updates with you guys. For starters, welcome back to my day ones. I missed you guys. With all the life updates that's been transpiring, I was like, I can't wait to get back on here and connect with you guys. And for the newbies, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is a safe space where you can remove your mask and be your authentic self. Okay? So for starters, I know last season, the season finale, I ended the season 3. I shared with you guys, got into a car accident, totaled my car. I was dealing with emotions in real time, having a hard time processing it, but finally surrendered to God, giving all my problems over to Him. And I'm happy to be sitting here in front of you to say that I got a new car. Still hasn't really hit me yet, but I just have to thank God because the way that it happened and so quickly it happened, I'm truly grateful. I am truly grateful. And I appreciate everybody that reached out to me, sent me words of encouragement, wrote beautiful comments, and sending me like posts to uplift my spirits. I love y'all so much. I really do. I really love this little community we formulated, but neither here nor there. I'm truly grateful for it. Okay. So that's that. I haven't named my car yet, but I feel like it'll come to me with time. My old car was named Genesis, and we'll see what I name this car. And once I have a name, I'll share. I would like to send my sincerest condolences for the lives lost in DC in the plane crash accident. My heart goes out to the families. You are my prayers. It was such a tragedy. And there's so many like plane accidents that are occurring. Guys, I don't know about you, but we have to stay prayed up. We have to really stay up during these like trying times. And you really have to thank God when you make it back home in one piece. That is a blessing. Especially during this climate, that is a blessing. So my heart goes out to the families that were affected by the tragedy. And I just pray that God just gives us peace in due time because it's a lot. If you feel like social media is a lot for you right now, because every time you go on to social media is something that's not settling with your spirit, it's okay to go ahead and log out and give yourself some time to just regroup and censor what you monitor. Censor what you monitor. If you feel like you've seen too much things about tragedy, too many things about like politics, mute the pages, hide those posts, like sign out, do what you got to do to protect your peace. Moving forward on a lighter note, I would like to shout out Shine and Jeff, aka Jigga, for tying the knot a few weeks ago in St. Martin. And y'all, we had a time. A time was had, okay? I really want to go back to St. Martin. I didn't even want to leave and come back to ghetto America. Because the minute I came back, it was just nonstop with the nonsense. But it was just so beautiful to witness my friend from high school tying a knot with her man that she loves so dearly, and he loves her so dearly, he don't play about her, okay? So I am so happy for you guys. It was an honor to be a guest, especially at my first destination wedding. Y'all made this very tough to top. Y'all made sure y'all were very personable with your guests, and a time was had. It was a bashment, okay? We had some good DJs, and they were on the ones and twos from the time the reception started, and everybody had their rag representing the islands they from. It was just a time. Okay. Hitting up the club. We was on a boat ride. Like, Shine and Jigga, y'all did y'all big one. And I pray to God that God grants you a lifetime of happiness. Okay? I'm expecting my niece or nephew within the next few months or so. So get to it. Okay, so moving forward, I know y'all saw my girl is going on tour. Cowboy Carter tour. But it's not going to be as big as the Renaissance tour. I really, 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 really want to go. It just, there's some factors that play a role. Timing, money, but it's Beyonce. So this ain't Texas. I just pray I'm going to be in one of those seats in the stadium with my cowboy boots on, singing my heart out. Because I thoroughly enjoyed her country album. And shout out to my girl for winning Grammys that night, okay, of the Grammy Awards. And she ruffled a lot of feathers. Per usual, that's what us black women do. So it's okay. But yeah, let me know if y'all trying to go on the tour. Cause we ain't gonna it's Hunger Games at this point, because she's only visiting 9 cities, so it's not gonna be a lot of shows. So yeah, let me know if you're trying to go. We could talk, coordinate some outfits, coordinate some link ups if you're going to try to go to the one in the MetLife stadium. I would love to meet some of you guys in person. So yeah. But yeah, guys, that's what's been going on with my life as of right now. The break was needed. As you can see, I am rejuvenated. I am happy to be back. I'm happy to be sitting in front of you guys in one piece. And yeah, I'm so excited for this season. And I have some new things in store, and I can't wait for you to witness. As you all may have known or seen on my Instagram page for the podcast, I'm starting a segment entitled Room for Advice, where I allow you, the listeners, to leave me a message, like show me some love, or you can ask me a question. And I will feature you on my episode. Okay? Because now I want to be more personable with you guys. I'm always thinking of ways to connect with y'all. And I felt like, what better way to like create an open forum where you guys ask me for advice, or you just want to show love and get your 5 seconds of fame. I'm okay with that, because this is our community. And although I'm leading this conversation, like, this conversation wouldn't happen without you guys. So I received one message so far, and I'm not going to lie, it almost brought me to tears. And I'm so excited to play it for you guys.
Hi, Neek. So I have this question for you. If you could go back and leave a voicemail or love letter to your 20-something-year-old self, what would you say to her? And for all of us here who are navigating our 20s in preparation for our 30s, what is one daring, audacious, or outrageous move you think we should make that can completely change the game and the course of our lives? No safe bets. We're talking bold leaps. I look forward to your answer. Thank you.
When I first heard this, it almost brought me to tears. But I'm going to try to keep it together with my emotional behind. Thank you for that message. I really appreciate it. Damn. What would I tell my younger self in my 20s? I think I would tell myself, love yourself enough to walk away from people, to walk away from situations. And you may feel like life is not going according to plan right now, but trust and believe life will get better. Your 30s is like a redo of your 20s, but just more mature, bigger bag, yeah, more responsibilities. But it's lit here in my 30s. What else would I tell my younger self? The things that you're stressing about in your 20s, you're not going to be stressing about in your 30s. Some things is just going to be like, let it roll off your shoulder. I would say to my younger self, you're going to be proud of the growth that you will see in the years to come. You may not feel like you are where you need to be, but I promise you, with every situation that arises, every step that you take is going to lead you into that direction. And that's what I would tell my younger self. I think one audacious move that you can take that will change your life in your 20s, especially us as women, the person you're dating is probably not your husband. So if you feel like you need to leave that situation, it may hurt, but yes, leave it. Because I promise you, God is going to bring something bigger and better in your 30s. Yes, I may be single right now, but I feel like I'm getting there. My husband, he's close in proximity. Another audacious move, I feel like cutting off friends that don't, cutting off friends and relationships that is a disservice. So what if you've been friends with them since the sandbox? If they're making your growth stagnant, let them go. At this big age, your friends should be bringing out the best in you. And I'll give one more. One audacious move to prepare for your 30s. Start writing out things that you want to accomplish that you didn't get to accomplish in your 30s. I mean, in your 20s. Start writing out things that you still like haven't achieved yet because it's never too late. If you want to go back to school, I went back to school I went back to grad school at the age of 30. I graduated from college in 2013. I went back to school in 2021, I believe. And I kept saying to myself, this is going to be a huge adjustment. And I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with homework. I don't want to deal with writing papers. But I don't regret it. I don't regret it at all. So I would say whatever you didn't get to achieve in your 20s, do it in your 30s. So I hope that helped. I hope that answers your question. And I hope I was able to give some real advice. So thank you so much for this message. Like, I'm so excited to get more of these because, yeah. But thank you so much. And without further ado, let's dive into today's topic. Ladies and gentlemen, I now present to you the host of Broken to Boss, Miss Destiny. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so happy to be on your episode today.
I'm happy to have you.
Thank
I'm
you.
glad you decided to do this because you didn't have to. Do you want to share how
Absolutely.
we met?
Absolutely. So it's so crazy because we actually met on TikTok.
Okay.
And I and thank you, TikTok, for allowing me to meet such an amazing person. When I tell you, you are amazing, and it's so crazy because you would have swore we met already. We was locked in for years, okay? Be chatting like we knew each other our whole life, but we met online because she reached out to me, so nice, so kind, and we kind of like exchanged podcasts, and that's how it
Yeah.
started. And then we just realized how much stuff we had in common. So we just end up chatting about that and so many other things about us having culture similarities and things like that. So it was a great experience on meeting you virtually.
Being from New York too as
Oh
well.
yes,
Okay. Can't let them forget
I
that. But
can't
but
be
thank
in
you
New
so
York. Only New Yorkers get it. You gotta listen. You gotta be from there to get it.
and it's crazy because like even the other day we were talking and I know the lady that does your hair.
Yeah,
Like
small but
basically
big.
grew up with her daughter. Shout out to Karen.
Karen, I love you. No,
But
seriously.
I really appreciate you, like I said, coming on here. Love watching your TikToks, even though I can't get on TikTok personally right now because, yeah, y'all.
It's here.
I switched phones, and after I tried to re-download the app, it's been a dub. So if you haven't seen me post on TikTok, this is why. But Destiny, I love your content. Very
Thank you.
thorough, very real, very New York. Okay,
I just be popping my shit. That's it. I just be chatting. The people that get it. It's
okay.
so funny because I was looking up ways today because I'm like, it gotta be a way my girl can get TikTok back on her phone. There's like this whole thing about how you gotta put your phone on airplane mode and then put that you
Yeah,
in like Canada. I'm like, this is a lot,
something with
but
VPN. Like I was like, I'm not doing all of this.
this is a
Like
lot. It's like you gotta find a little 10-year-old boy online who can hack it for you. You gonna be all right. They
pay a
they
little
they out
$1
there.
something,
Little
please, because
$25.
I miss my TikTok bad, but like I said, it's a pleasure to have you on here.
Thank you.
And for those that don't, well, she mentioned it, but check out her podcast, Broken the Boss.
Yes.
Real, very relatable content.
Thank you.
Problem. So let's dive into today's topic. Today's topic is entitled "Broken but Not Beaten: The Journey from Broken to Boss." And what other person to have than you to talk about? So, my first question to you: what sparked you to start your podcast, Broken the Boss? And is there a specific like situation that you were going through that helped like spark the flame?
So I started the Broken to Boss podcast during the pandemic. During the pandemic, I want to say it was the highlight of 2020. I just got out of a really, really long term toxic relationship. And I
Lord.
feel like that relationship broke me to pieces. And
Mm,
I learned so much about myself the moment I removed myself from that relationship because I had no idea who I truly was inside of that relationship. I felt like I was lost in that relationship, catering to that person's needs, and also he was the financial breadwinner.
okay.
So he would take care of everything, sponsor everything, trips, gifts, everything. Like literally, he paid for everything. And it's not that I didn't work; I did, but he significantly made way more than me. So it was a tactic of control. So
Okay.
it was manipulation, control with the finances. And then anytime that I would try to remove myself, it was like, you're ungrateful. You don't understand. You're not thankful for the things I've done for you. And I would
Manipulate.
feel, yeah,
Yeah.
manipulation, heavy manipulation. And I would feel guilty. And I would kind of stay. And I would stay through the cheating. And I'm not going to sit on this podcast and talk about, I was tumping him up. But that was toxic. That was very, very toxic.
But at
And
least you enough to like, admit
yeah,
that.
to take accountability. So a toxic Brooklyn love story, and it was bad. It was bad. But the moment I removed myself, and then the pandemic hit, and I just felt like, okay, who is Destiny? Like, who does she want? Because I felt like I lost my way with God. I
Mm.
felt like even though I was praying still, I still didn't. I felt like I had no connection to anything. Who I was, who I wanted to be, because in my mind, this relationship was the center of my life. And I feel like God will put you in certain positions for you to learn and to understand that you think you want something, but you don't. Because from the outside in, our relationship was completely perfect. Like we were young, traveling, doing so many things together,
Yeah.
but I was miserable. I was literally broken on the inside, and a couple things happened. I was just like, I cannot do this anymore. So when I removed myself, I started taking the time to work on myself. So during the pandemic, I had like started different ventures. I started working more on my nonprofit. I started
Okay.
really figuring out who Destiny is and what is her purpose. Going to therapy, like really rebuilding myself and spending some time in solitude. The
Yes.
most important thing is spending time with yourself.
You have
It's
to. Here.
scary, but necessary.
I'm happy to hear, and you can even tell, like, you're just, you're a breath of fresh air. Like, I didn't know you then, but I feel like most women, we do go through situations like this, like, where I know we see memes online where they be like, a woman could break up with a man and be having 5 jobs, 5 degrees.
It,
She getting her body together, but it's true
it is
because
true.
we don't realize when we're in a relationship, we subconsciously like we keep the man at the center.
Mm-hmm.
That's our like main focus, especially if we're in a situation where we don't fully trust the person. We
Exactly.
want to beneath them 24/7 because we want to know what they doing in front and behind our back. No, but I feel like you started your podcast at a pivotal time where the world was shut down and you had no choice but to sit in solitude.
Exactly. I was like literally back into a wall force, but I feel like that was God's wake up call. Like, listen, and I appreciate everything I went through, the bad, the ugly, the pretty, because there's no purpose without pain. I
Okay.
always tell people that in order for you to have a purpose, you have to experience some level of pain so that you
Mhm.
could be able to identify with others on a certain level, so you could be able to be a solution to help with solutions. So
And
that,
I like
I feel like it worked out.
your story probably has touched a lot of women that probably were or are in similar situations. I know for me, like I started my podcast when I first moved out here, but I was dealing with, a breakup too as well and
Mm,
going through depression. And I feel like sometimes when you're in solitude, that's when the juices start flowing. You start thinking about all these ideas. And if you're that type of person that has that type of personality, you're thinking about how can I tell my story to help other people too as well?
right.
So
Exactly.
from the time and it's amazing too because you started it when were you turning 30 at the time?
No, so I in the pandemic, I'm not that old. Don't age me that way.
Okay.
I turned 30 in 2023. So I
Okay.
probably started like 27, 28.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like 27,
Okay.
20, 28. Around that time. But I officially cut it off with this person. Because even after we broke up, when you go back and forth and the back and forth, and it just was like, I literally have to cut ties with this person in order to thrive, to be somebody. Like, it's not going to work.
Basically. But I'm
Yeah.
proud of you. Like that takes a lot of courage, a lot of strength to leave something that you're used to. Like you
Yeah.
were comfortable. I'm sure he was comfortable and y'all were very familiar with each
Mhm.
other. Nowadays it's like if you don't have that strength and you're dealing with the dating pool nowadays, you're like, I'm gonna just go back.
Yeah.
So you got
Especially in dating pool now.
yeah,
Especially now,
gotta
it'll make you feel like I should stay with what I have because everyone else is telling me that there's nothing else out here. But I'm
yeah.
telling you, you have to take the risk. You have to,
Hmm.
because why settle when God has better plans for you out
And
there, a better person for you?
that's
So it's just like it never settle in any area of your life, relationships, jobs, relate nothing in any area of your life. You should you settle.
thank you for sharing that. And for those listening, I hope like if you're going through something similar, I hope like Destiny's story, my story, like hope that you'll be able to get there one day where you could just
Hmm.
up and leave and never look back.
And never
So
look back.
okay, don't go back to the trenches. um, so what was it like when you hit rock bottom and the mindset shift it took to like start rebuilding?
It was when I hit rock bottom, I was so depressed. Depressed.
Mm.
I never truly experienced this level of depression. I was in my room, lights off during the day. You know how you got the blackout
Yep.
curtains? Like, I'm just so sad. I don't know what to do with myself, what's next. And I also was at a point where everything he was telling me was starting to eat me up in my head. Like,
Oh,
without me, you're not going to be this, you're not going to be that. Like, the verbal abuse will definitely deteriorate your mind and
yeah.
have you feel like this person has power over you. And even when you're not with them anymore, it's like you have to retrain your mind again because you still like, you miss them and you're dependent on them because you put so much power, you gave them so much power. So even after the breakup, I was depressed, I was sad, I wasn't eating, I was not okay. But what I was strong enough because I was praying. Because I said, God, do not bring me back to the same place that broke me. So
Mm.
even when he would call and try to pop up and try to, I'm like, no, no, I'm not doing it. And it was hard because I was familiar with him for a very, very long time. So it was very hard. And this, even with my job at the time, I wasn't happy there. I didn't want to be there. And I'm just like, where's my life going? As you get older, you just feel like you, by society standards, I'm supposed to be on my way to marriage, supposed to be
Okay.
having my first kid. I'm supposed to be putting 10% down on my first house.
On your
Like,
home.
yeah, I'm supposed to have my a fluffy white Yorkie. Like, I'm supposed to have all these things, and it's not aligning.
Yeah.
It's not aligning. But I had to wake up and be like, girl, you worried about getting a 10, and you barely at 1. And one
Okay.
starts with yourself. You don't even love yourself because you allowed a man to drag you through the mud. You have no boundaries when it comes to people. You allowing people to disrespect you left and right. You allowing people to take advantage of you, walk all over you. Who are you as a person?
And that's some tough stuff to sit in.
Yeah,
Uh,
it is. A reality check is hard.
yeah. Especially when you're reflecting on like outside of the relationship, like maybe even friendships where you're reflecting like these people did me wrong. I'm just tired of people doing me.
Yeah. I'm tired of being everybody's stepping stool because it's just like I got a
Yeah.
best friend here for this long, 15 years, and she's not good to me. But we've been friends for 15 years, so how could I end that friendship? I gotta make like you. I'm just holding on to all this dead weight, and all
Yeah.
it's doing is dragging me down like an anchor, dragging me down. And when I tell you, I was sinking, I was drowning. So I was in a dark place. And the moment that I decided to choose me and say no, getting in that moment of solitude, and I felt like I had nobody to turn to but God. And
Mm.
then God's like, girl, give me your hand because you're trying to do this by yourself so bad, and I got you.
Gotta give your problems over to God, girl.
Literally.
I'm still learning that too myself because when you fully give it over to him, like you feel so much lighter.
Oh my
You
God,
feel
yeah.
like even though this situation is still occurring or you're dealing with the aftermath, like you know that God got you. And
Yeah.
this situation is only gonna last but for so long. You know,
Exactly.
light at the end of the tunnel. So I'm really happy that like yeah, you had to sit in that in order to get to where you are
It
today.
start with a good cry in the shower. You know when you had
Okay.
that Tony Braxton cry, that unbreak my heart. That's the cry you gotta give. That same cry when that man fell off that motorcycle in that music video. You gotta give that fucking
Okay.
cry in the shower,
I on the wall. You have to
sliding down the wall, everything, and you just gotta be like, God, you gotta cry it all out and like, God, I surrender. And he come like, bet,
you
okay,
ever cry to the point like when you try to cry not a tear comes out because it's you
yes,
crying so much.
yeah. It's like
Yo,
come back again tomorrow. We're out of water. We're out of service right now. Come back
like no
tomorrow.
more tears in the glands. Like, mm-mm. That means it's time. Time is up. Stop
Yeah.
shedding.
And I'm super emotional, but I'm like an emotional thug because I don't like people to know that I cry. So it's just
Mm.
like when things hurt my feelings, I'll be like, I don't want to talk about it. But then I'll go home like,
Lay up on the drive home. You cry like, damn.
exactly. You got the tears going down your face. You got the Mary J. Blige on the stereo. It's just too much.
Yup,
It's too
I'm
much.
good at that. Like I will sit here, especially when it comes to men. I'll be here like it's cool, and then I'm at home. I'm like, y'all, I can't do this no more. Like this is too much. Like yeah,
Yeah.
it happens.
It happens, and you even will be heartbroken, and it's not even your friends will break your heart just as much as a man.
Okay.
People don't understand that friendship breakups hurt just as much as a male breakup.
Or even
Even
worse.
worse, actually, because
Yeah,
you would expect some shady, grimy shit from a man. But when your friend, you shared so much dark secrets, so much memory, so much moments, you think that they would never betray you like that. That type of hurt,
it's
it hurts.
different.
It is.
It's very different. I don't even know like how to even describe that hurt. Like that pain is just it's unbearable.
Yeah.
Just sitting in disbelief, like, how could this person do this to me? Like, nah, this person was at my graduation. Like, this person was like family to me. But it happens. It
Yeah,
happens.
and then you going through a man breakup. you're going through a friend breakup, then you go to your grandma's house and she said you fat. Now I'm ready to crash out. Like, now I'm ready to crash out because everybody is just like, what's
And you
happening?
know, in Caribbean households, like they will tell you if you gain it,
Unprovoked.
looking crazy. Like it's just like, damn, kick me
Take
while
me
I'm down.
while I'm down. And they can't read the room. I noticed that. I just noticed that they can't, nor do they want to read the room. You'll be going through it, looking sad, depressed. They don't say you okay. They're like, girl, why you look a mess. You look
Yep.
terrible. You look disgusting. You like, you
But
know what? Just go.
I can't. Because I'm just like, I'm thinking about like when I was going through my seasonal depression, like I remember I can't remember what parent, but I remember my parents saying like, you looking thicker. And I'm like, well, I'll be damned.
Yeah, like,
Know that? Like,
if an oxtail roster pasta gonna make me feel good this month, let it do that.
I'm like, well, I mean, I'm finding comfort in food at the moment, but I'm gonna get it together eventually. Like, let me rock. But, child, yeah, that's another story for another. But how does vulnerability like play a role in healing and transformation for you?
Oh my God, you have. And I hate to be so cliche and always bring it back to spirituality, but that is just my story. And you have to be vulnerable and you have to also be humble and be willing to release and let God kind of takes control. And that
Yeah,
allows you to be in a vulnerable space because sometimes you got to be quiet. Sometimes you can't act on everything. Sometimes you can't send that long paragraph text message because you angry, because you upset, because you hurt. Sometimes you got to block. You got to have a season to block. I'm not doing that. I'm not arguing. I'm not feeding into that because I have so much more to my life than
yeah,
giving you, like, I'm overstaying my welcome here. And that's for anybody life. So let me be vulnerable. Let me allow myself to release all this pain, release all this baggage. Like really start stripping myself of all this baggage and taking it off and giving it to God. Because baby, when I tell you I'm light as a feather these days, the things
okay,
that would have stressed me out a couple years ago, I'm like,
unbothered.
I pray about it. Other than that, life goes on. And this is why I know everything happens for a reason. Me developing that type of strength allows me to be the rock for the people that needs me in my life. And they season that they may have they're going through. Like they're going through real life shit. Real life is happening. What is a
Yeah,
breakup to somebody who is diagnosed with cancer? What is a breakup to somebody who has been affected by the COVID shot? What is a breakup to people who can't have kids, like people who really need. And then you start thinking like, what I'm going through is not shit. Like,
no, people are going through real life stuff that's like, you know, it's permanent.
yeah,
Permanent. Like a breakup, you could get a next month.
yeah,
Okay, get
no,
somebody. But like you said, somebody that's dealing with cancer, someone that's dealing with they can't have a baby, someone
right,
with how am I with all this stuff going on? How am I going to feed my kids?
right,
How
exactly.
my kids are straight? Like
Somebody
it's
don't even know how they're gonna pay their bills, and I have a roof over my head. I have a job, and that's why I always say, do not slap God in the face and not be grateful for where you are, even if you feel like it's not where you want to be, because you're better than most. You're
yeah,
better than some people are really out here, and they don't even know where their next meal is coming from. So that's when I had to realize, like, I need to get back to myself, or not even get back to myself, but find out who she is. Who
yeah.
am I becoming as a woman?
And that's
The
the one.
transition.
That's the one and not the two. Who are you becoming as a woman? And we're evolving every day. But you have to like really applaud yourself because this is growth. Like
Absolutely.
especially what you mentioned, the things that would bother you, would have bothered you back then. It's like you're unfazed by it now.
Yeah, it's like I don't make space for negativity, and it's so crazy that you said evolve, and it made me think about during this season when I was doing my transition, I was heavy on Sarah Jake Roberts. Like
Okay,
that is my girl. I read every book. I watched every sermon. and I was just really tuned into her at that season. And what drew me to her, I don't know if you know her story, but she got
Yeah.
pregnant at 14. You know,
And
she, you
very curious.
know, she was counted out. And
Hmm.
that's what made me realize, like, girl, you don't even have half that baggage. Get
Yep.
up. Get up. She still managed to make something with herself. And she never dwelled on the fact, she never lingered onto the fact that she was TD Jake's daughter. She made an own
Yeah.
name for herself, and she still had to navigate through life on her own without the help of her, 100% help of her parents. So I'm like,
Yeah.
girl, you don't even have to deal with none of that, and you get up.
Yeah.
Get up right now.
She dealt with teenage pregnancy. She dealt with like embarrassment, like
Yeah, shame.
all the things that people would have probably like wouldn't even have been able to stomach. Like,
Exactly.
and that's why I feel like a lot of people like gravitate towards her because she's so real.
But that authentic,
Authenticity. I got you, girl.
authenticity. Yo, I can't. But yes, and it's just like that's who I want to be for people, because I'm just gonna be 100% honest and transparent. Sometimes when I get on social media and I see the influencers and things like that, a lot of their stories, when they get exposed, some of them, not all of them, when they get exposed for not being the person that they portray themselves to be, a lot of the times I'm not surprised, because sometimes they just packaging it too perfect. None of
Yeah,
us are perfect.
I
We
have,
all have imperfections.
I have some people in mind that came to mind, but
But you know, and
yeah,
everybody has their day, and we've seen a lot of people get exposed.
yep,
The people who are had the perfect marriage and they selling you these dreams, they selling you a lie for profit.
yep,
I'd rather be real so you can learn from my story, because I don't want nothing from you. Anything that God placed on my heart for somebody to learn from me is a blessing for me.
amen.
So it's just like, okay, who do you want to be? Be yourself. The best thing you, and Sarah Jakes Roberts say, God cannot bless who you pretend to be.
Yep, because that's not really you.
Right.
That's not really you. God wants you to come to Him with flaws and all.
He know
He
I'm a little ghetto and he love me.
yeah. He doesn't expect us to be perfect. Like He made us in His own image, and
Yeah.
that's exactly why. Like once we come to this point in life where we realize who we are and whose we are, this is why God continues to bless us, and this
Amen.
is why He continues to test us. So kudos to you, and kudos for that reference for Sarah Jake Roberts, because yeah, that's my girl.
That's my girl. I love
Yeah.
her.
So, what does boss mean to you in your personal and professional life?
So boss, everybody automatically thinks that, oh, boss means entrepreneur. But I
Okay.
that's necessarily not the definition for me. A boss is somebody who has complete control over their life, who is control of their, I always refer to a corporation. Your life is your corporation. You will make or break how far your brand, your business goes. That being your life. Okay, no, you're in charge of the hiring, the
Yep.
firing, the rules, the guidelines. So you're in control. So a lot of people, they lose control and wonder why they there's no growth, because you're
Yeah.
not the boss of your life. You're not saying, okay, well, I've experienced this generational trauma. You're not making an executive decision by being in control, by saying that it stops here.
Yeah.
That's why it's important for you to not just go along with what has happened and has not worked for you and your family. You have to be the one to wave the red flag and be like, hey, it's
Yep.
not working. I'm in control now. This is my life. If my mother said I want to be, she wants me to be a doctor, but I want to be a Broadway dancer, it's my life.
Yep.
I'm going to be a Broadway dancer. So that's where it comes to, because a lot of people, they are intimidated by society standards. And it comes to a point where it's like, I'm okay. I'm 31 years old. I'm about to be 32, not married, don't have a child. And I'm okay with that because I'm in control. If I want to go get married, it's somebody out here from Jamaica who want to get married. I could
Okay.
be married.
Going viral on social media, go to someplace else and just be like, I want my land.
Exactly.
I want my land.
I want, hello, exactly. I want my man and my land and the
Yeah.
baby. Like, I could do that, but I say, because I'm in control, I'm doing things different. If I want these things, I want it a certain way, and I'm sticking
Yeah.
to what I want. And that goes for every. category in my life, when it comes to my professional life, I've created a plan for myself because I'm in control. So when I go into work, I don't let them stress me because I'm in control of how I react. You cannot. A lot of people will allow one comment or a conversation to ruin their day.
You're talking to me right now. Like,
Yes, literally. They will allow it to ruin their day, and you don't understand that you're no longer the boss when you allow somebody to take your power.
yeah.
You're no longer in control. Now they running you. Now they running your business for you. And who are they? They're nobody. You've been running this business for as long as you've been alive, and you giving the power to somebody else just by allowing them to affect you with a comment, with a word.
And
No, you have to change the way you address things. How do I want to be viewed? I decided because I used to be an argumentative person. I will argue down to the ground.
me
I
too.
will
I
tell
was
you
so
about you and your mother so fast. Okay. Now I even change the tone of my voice when I deal with certain things because it's energy and vibration in how you talk. So sometimes I will address. I learned as I'm growing. It's energy. It's vibration in everything that you do. I'm not gonna give you my energy. I'm preserving it for me and mine, for my business, for myself. So anything that I don't want to be a part of, I will remove myself. Anything that I feel like is detrimental to my growth, remove myself. And that is what being in charge is. Making executive decisions for your life.
And I love that connection you made, and I heard it in not this past episode. I think it's the last episode, the start of your season, your new season.
Oh, the rebrand.
Yes, and you mentioned like this same exact analogy, like your life is like a corporation. Like
Yeah.
you have the power to hire and fire people. And when you said that, I was like,
Absolutely.
yeah, you really this is you really do have control over who you allow into your space,
Mm-hmm.
who you decide to let go, um, who you decide to give power to, and the list goes on. So I really love that like analogy because it's real.
Yeah, and people don't understand that you can demote family members too. They don't
Um,
have to stay a part of your company. That's
yeah,
because they're family. You could be like, you were a work associate. Now you just a stand a call on. We're
yeah,
on
see,
call. We'll call you if we need you.
yep.
That's it.
No, but it's real. Like, and I feel like with family members, like you said, that's the biggest one too, because you feel like, oh, they're family. Of course, I'm gonna still have love for you. I'm gonna still have respect for you. When I see you on the street, I'm gonna say hi.
Right.
Your birthday, I'm gonna show love. When it's the holidays, I'm gonna send a text. But you don't have to be in my personal space if you're detrimental to my like my mental. No.
Absolutely. I tell people that all the time. You have to create boundaries with your family members despite what people say the blood is thicker than water and all these things
Yeah.
because sometimes you have people that come into your life who show up and show out more for you than the people who've been there longer. So it's like,
Yeah.
who am I going to promote and who am I going to demote? I need to
That,
give more energy and more time to the people who are showing up for me versus the people who feel so comfortable in their position because they had this job for so long.
yeah. And
You need to perform like you just got it and you scared to lose it.
people do get comfortable very quickly. I would
Yeah,
just
because
have
they think they're never gonna get fired. They think you're
yeah.
never gonna cut them off. People always think that, and then you have to give them the wake up call because listen, if you don't give them a warning that they're gonna get fired, they're gonna act like I just treat them however because that's
Yeah.
I do whatever.
And that warning is like that pink slip. And
Yeah,
then when you're fired, when you're out of here,
you acting shocked and surprised. Now you're gonna be crying on the phone. No, we're not taking calls today.
no,
No.
take your things, you're out.
No, you're out of here. Pack them up. You got till 2 p.m. to exit the building.
I mean,
No.
in hindsight, even though they do this in corporate America, they shouldn't be doing this, but people will wait till you work a whole shift and
Oh,
then fire you.
yes, they do.
Okay? You're supposed to get rid of them at the top of the day. Don't try to get rid of them at the ending of their shift after they
No,
work
they say you gonna
hard.
work, and
Yeah.
then that's a little grimy. That's like getting what you need from somebody, and then be like, yeah, this is not gonna work out. This is
I mean, there's people that do that in real life.
yeah,
They get what they want,
absolutely.
they get what they need from you, and then you're disposable. Like, it's messed up. But
That's pretty grimy. You
another
could get.
time, another day, I put it on. But let's talk about authenticity as a superpower. How has staying authentic impact your personal journey in your career?
So I didn't mention, but I have a nonprofit called Sisterhood.
Okay.
And it's a nonprofit based in Brooklyn, and it is a mentoring program for young teenage girls from disadvantaged communities. So I grew up in Brooklyn, I grew up in Crown Heights, I grew up in Bed-Stuy. So me being true to myself, it has worked for me in every area of my life
Mm.
because one, being able to connect with these girls, being able to connect with the young girls that I work with, or when I'm working in shelters and I'm able to be myself and I'm not coming in there acting like I'm better than, or like I don't understand their struggle or where they come from, and I don't have to talk, change my voice, and pretend that I'm uppity because I have a certain degree. I come and be myself, and they're receptive to that. They don't feel like they're being judged. They don't feel like I think that I'm better than them, and they're more open to
They're more
receive the message, and because they're more comfortable, and that has worked for me even down to my personal job. Me being myself has invited me to build so much connections and networks with even somebody grandma 99 years old. I have so many people that love me where I work, and I love them as well because I'm myself, and I
yeah.
open up myself. It's been times where I would sit there and just touch somebody's hand, and I would say, "Are you okay today?" And they just start breaking down and tell me everything, and I would sit right there and pray with them.
That means you feel the energy.
He can use
Okay.
me fully to connect to other people. He can allow me to use the Holy Spirit to touch other people. So I have to be myself. He created me in this light since he created me for a reason, with purpose. If I pretend to be somebody else that's fake, and he won't be able to use the fake version because he gonna be like, "Who's that?"
Yeah, I don't know her.
I don't know her. Who's that?
I don't
It's
know
also
her.
worked for me on TikTok because me just talking regular
I
allow
just
me to also connect with strangers and really have build relationships with them. So it's just like I always feel like no connection happens for no reason. Everything
and
happens with purpose.
I received that. And you just dropped, whether you know it or not, you dropped a lot of gems.
Ooh.
Okay. To piggyback off your last statement about like just being yourself on TikTok, that's what gravitate like that's how I gravitated towards you. Like I remember, I could tell you vividly. I remember the first post I seen from you, you were giving a review about like a fete that you love to go to. You was just like, I don't know what's going on with the quality. And it's crazy because I was just having a conversation with like my friends that fete. And I was just like, yo, when we go to these fetes, why are they like catering to the Americans? Why are we playing like
Don't
the
get me started.
why are we playing the sexy reds? Why are we playing the ice spice? I don't want to hear it.
Not the let's go.
I
That's where I
don't.
want to go. I want to go home.
I don't want to hear. And everything that you was just saying in the video, and I think the event like was rained out or something, and you was just like they should have been more prepared, which I agree. I just feel
I
like,
remember that. Mm-hmm.
girl, I'm sitting here like, okay, I feel her. I feel like we see each other because this is how I've been feeling. Like y'all just ready to take my money and y'all not giving a quality.
I came to pelt ways.
Okay,
Okay?
fine.
Pelt ways. And that's not giving that in
No,
here.
you came to hear the tunes. You had like maybe a stressful week, but I got this fed to look forward to. So that was like the video that gravitated me towards you. And from there I was just like the realness. Rawness. Like I'm here for it. Especially like I said, as a New Yorker, like everywhere we go outside of New York, people don't understand us. They feel like we're very
No.
aggressive.
No.
Talk, very animated.
I wouldn't want to be from anywhere else, I swear.
I know, but like y'all want to be us so bad, but that's another conversation for another.
Mm-hmm. Carpet.
But but I feel like your content, like you just have that gift. Like you know how to
Thank
connect.
you.
and that's not a gift that everybody has. So
Thank
they
you. It's so crazy too because somebody, and it's so crazy. It's somebody I barely talk to. They hit my phone up. They're like, "Oh, I see. You got a little following on TikTok. How could I get that?"
first of all, the
Face
little
exactly.
little
Yeah.
ain't nothing little over here.
Face exactly. And the thing about it was, and then it started with something shady, and then after it was like, "But I'm so proud of you," and all this stuff. And I'm just like, and then it was like, "Oh, they sent me a video," and it was like, "What you think? You think that this you think that this video is gonna be like good?" I said, "Be yourself." That's the only advice I give you. Like, I'm not even gonna watch it. I'm not even gonna tell you what I really think about the video, but be yourself.
Oh, if that's
That's
yourself. If
it. It's nothing that I didn't. I never wanted to be no influencer or a TikTok star or anything like that. I just enjoy talking. like
but
literally, I enjoy talking shit. I do,
yeah,
and it
like you
works for me.
connect with people, you enjoy like speaking your mind because not
Yeah,
do that. Like some people just feel like they have to put on this like this image, like portray this image of being perfect package.
perfect. Everything
No,
has to be glamorous, luxury, soft girl era. That's their favorite line. Everything got to be soft girl era. It got to be luxurious. It got to be fancy. It got to look rich. Let's come back to reality because I've been a part of many, many different worlds, and the girls that you really think are those girls
they're
are
not.
they're not who you think they are. And this is no shade, no tea, but they're not who they think they are, and they don't have what you think they have.
That's
So it
real.
doesn't pay to pretend because it's always somebody who knows you in real life. But most
Okay.
of all, you have to sleep with that at the end of the night. More than anybody knowing you, you have to live with the reality when you take off that mask or who you really are and realize that you're so unhappy that you have to make up a whole fixated life to present to other people to feel validated. And that's scary.
That's a word.
That's
Because
scary.
it's a lot of that. I feel like it's more of that on social media, period. But I feel like you see more of that on Instagram, and that's why I
Oh
hate.
yeah.
I have a love hate relationship with Instagram. I love me some TikTok. TikTok, please let me back. Let
Please,
me back
no,
on.
please. I'm gonna get signed. Please, please,
I miss it so bad. I
please.
feel like it was raw. Like on TikTok, people will show you like I
Yeah.
don't live in a high rise apartment. But let me show you, I'm living in this apartment with the wooden cabinets, and let me show you how I'm gonna deck
I'm
it
gonna
out.
redo it exactly.
I
It's
love
giving
it.
community a love. I love it there.
I
They
love
can't.
it.
They can't get. Nobody can get me off that TikTok. I was ready to move to China at one point because I'm like, I can't. I can't. When they shut it down, I was in the spot and I was tearing up. Like I can't do it.
I got my TikTok back for a few days, and once I had to get a replacement phone, it was over. I was like,
No,
damn.
I'm telling you, we're gonna find somebody who looks like Andy Milonakis to get you your ass back. I'm
So
telling you, $25 in a Capri Sun. He gonna do it.
please, because I want my TikTok back. Please. I know my friends is probably sick of me talking about it, but I miss it so bad.
Yeah.
So, um, but what are some challenges you face being unapologetically you?
Oh my God. So when I first started my nonprofit, and this is when I first started realizing, I had like a mentor,
Okay.
and she worked in a hospital, but she also was getting into PR. So she was like a publicist. So she wanted, it was me and my friends at the time, was doing sisterhood together, and she was just like, you can't say this, you can't post that. You can't, like, she was just having so much restrictions on what we could do, what we can't do. And that's when I first realized that, like, at first I was like, okay, I guess I have to, put myself in this box if I want to succeed. Then I realized I do not have to do that. I'm this way because God is okay with me being this way, and He's going to bless this. Okay? He's going to bless me the way that I am. I don't need to pretend to be somebody else. So even though
Yeah.
I get up on TikTok and I talk mess and, I say certain things, I don't let it change the fact that I run a nonprofit. Because guess what? The proof is in the pudding. And I always say that. It's not about the talk, it's about the walk. So I can say anything.
Okay.
But the proof is on how many people I fed this year, on how many people I donated to, gave back to, how much communities I really did work in. That's the difference. So that's why I said I can be my authentic self. Nobody can ever expose anybody who's real.
Yeah.
You never could come. You
Well,
can't come and clock my tea. I clocked it already. If you it's 10 videos down, I already
Okay.
said
And
it. You can't.
that's real though, because like you said, you cannot clock somebody's tea who's just being authentically themselves.
And I
Like
had
you
nothing to
clock
hide.
for the people that's being fake, because we could go back and be like, but girl, you said this on July 4th.
What'd you say? Oh, okay.
The math ain't mathing on August 1st. So what happened?
Exactly. And that's the thing. And I always say that I'm not ashamed of my story. And on my podcast episodes, I get into depth about, things I, went through and trials and tribulations. And I used to be ashamed of certain things. Like, oh, I would never tell anybody. But yes, I've been to jail before. What, bookings. Not too much. I don't want y'all to think I was on that
Right?
Rikers and I served hard time. I didn't serve hard time, but I went to that bookings, but I don't recommend that location either. But I've been through things when I was younger. I'm not perfect. And I don't have a problem because I'm not ashamed of my story anymore.
But there's so many people that probably have similar experiences, but they are too ashamed to talk about it. And everybody have their time when they're gonna come out and be real.
Yeah.
But my problem with that is, don't act like you are holier than thou.
Then
Like
that
that I can't get with.
I can't get jiggy with because I don't mind people being private. I understand people being private, but you can't be judgy. You
Yep.
can't act like everybody has done something before, been through something before. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how much money you don't have. I don't care how bad you think you are. I don't care how sad you think you are. We all have gone through the same type of things at some capacity level. So it's just like I embrace everybody. What I don't embrace, and I tell people all of that, is, and I don't judge children. I always say I don't judge children and the elderly, but I judge people who do not want change,
Yeah.
who
Because this.
do not want growth. We all do stuff, but my thing is, are we going to be solution based? If you're not ready, it's okay, but you can't point the finger at anybody else until you point the finger at yourself
Yep.
and say, okay, I need to work on myself. You can't teach nobody nothing if you haven't learned from yourself.
Yeah. And that's a fact. You have to go through things, and at the time, you don't understand why God is putting you through these scenarios. But
Yeah,
then like when you're on the other side of the fence, like, I'm here to tell my story.
that's why you had me sliding down that wall. Okay, I'm not mad at you no more. I
Okay?
get it.
Tell you how I was delivered, okay?
Hmm.
How God saved me from like a path that I was going down that I shouldn't
Yeah,
go down. Like, I enjoy hearing stories like that, because everybody has a past.
yeah, exactly. And it's a past for a reason. Your past doesn't have to be your future.
Yep.
My thing is, you could, but you have to understand and acknowledge that that past is the reason why you are here now.
Mm-hmm.
You had to take those steps to be a better person because it takes a time in your life where the light bulb comes on and you're like, all right, it's time for change. It's time
For
for growth. I
I
don't
think
want to keep living
I,
like this.
for me, I think the light bulb went off when I was 30. Like,
It's okay.
yeah, I was like, I gotta change how I maneuver. Like, if I keep getting the same results in certain scenarios, I have to do some self work.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I
And as
agree.
long as I always say, as long as it comes, don't
Yeah,
be delusional to self reflection. You
yeah,
have to do that self reflection. If you only could point out everybody else's flaw, but can't be like, okay, well, I could work on this, I could work
yeah.
on that. You got to be able to self evaluate and do the work.
What are some tips you can give the listeners on embracing their raw, authentic selves in a world that values perfection?
Know yourself. You have to know yourself and you have to be comfortable in your skin, your body, and also love yourself. All of that goes together. The self love journey is super important. It's not cliche, but I want to let the girls know self love is not taking yourself to Sephora. Self
Okay,
love is not taking yourself to the spa. And
it's
self
not.
love is not buying the Sheen haul, the Sheen cart. That is not self love. That is a temporary band aid to fix a temporary wound that's going to fall off again and the wound is going to open up again and you're going to be back doing the same toxic mess again because you never did the inner work.
Yep.
Just because you haven't been in a relationship for 4 years, if you're not doing the work, that does not mean you're healing. You have to understand that it's going to take some time really being in solitude, and that is going to require therapy. It's going to require prayer, meditation, tears, journaling. It's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of inner self work, tackling trauma from your childhood,
Oh,
opening
that's
doors. Try to, yes,
yeah, because it starts somewhere. Yep.
definitely start somewhere. That type of man that you keep picking up over and over and over again in different bodies. Start looking at your parents. Start looking at things that you've went through. What happened? Nobody life is perfect.
Nobody.
Nobody life is perfect. So we all have some type of issue, some type of baggage that we need to tackle in order to be okay with ourselves, to then love ourselves. And then we have to understand that we live in a world where everyone is faking it till they make it. You have to be okay with being yourself and not trying to fall victim to what society is pushing out there onto you. Because you have the girls who, all my friends got BBLs, now all of a sudden
Oh my, I was just
I'm
bring that.
starting to feel like I need one too.
No.
And then you understand that now you more self conscious than you was before the BBL. So it's like you have to be able to be so confident in yourself that you could be in a room full of girls with BBLs and still feel like you're that girl
Yeah.
and know yourself
Crazy is that when you talk to real men, emphasis on
on the
real,
real
they would
capital
tell
R.
you, they would tell you, okay, it's nice to look at, but they don't want a woman like that because it's not real.
Yeah,
Sometimes men like a little belly to hold on to. They like, they like to see the thickness. And I had to tell myself this because I used to, and I still kind of deal with it a little bit, like body dysmorphia, like
mm-hmm.
because my weight has fluctuated all
Right.
my life. So when BBLs like started becoming a thing, and I realized like these type of girls are getting the attention, and
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy. Now if I post my picture in my bikini and my stomach ain't suck, it's
You
not.
gonna pull the same man that's in their DM, I promise you.
Oh, that's true. That's true. That is very true. So I had to tell myself, like, girl, you are beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, God made you to look a certain way. If we all were supposed to look alike, we all would have been born with BBLs. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay?
We've been looking like robots.
Yup. And it's like,
Exactly.
hey to anyone like that went that route, but it's just, we live in a society where you have to be aesthetically pleasing to
Pleasing.
seven. And that goes hand in hand with perfection. And I have my days where I just want to come home. I want to take off my bra. I want to take off my wig, put on my bonnet. Like, I don't look like this 24/7.
Sometimes I look like James Brown, and I'm okay
Okay.
with that.
Like Ashley Larry. It's okay.
And I'm okay with that. I'm
Okay.
okay with that. But before I used to be so self conscious. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I'm so comfortable in my skin, and we're not perfect. So every now and then I'm like, oh, I could do a couple squats. This booty could be fatter. Da, da, da. But now I'm more so like I'm gonna go to the gym because when I was younger, I definitely wanted the skinny girl BBL because I used to have issues gaining weight. So I wanted a skinny girl BBL, and this is in my early 20s, 21s. And also I had a partner who was like, yeah, I'll pay for it. But I really was like, I was scared, and I'm glad that I was scared because I would have heavily regretted that.
Yeah.
Heavily regretted making those decisions. Look how many girls are having complications. It's not
Yeah.
worth
Or dying.
dying.
Dying. Like,
And
it's
I
not,
know me. I knew I would have looked like an ant. It just would look. I knew this was. God would have made an example out of me because when you don't hear, you must feel. And I
you
would have
must
looked crazy.
feel.
I would have looked. I would have been a meme. That
But
I
shout
would
out
really
to
been sad.
going to the gym.
Yeah.
Okay. That that's
Well,
a different level of dedication. Like, I'm trying to like get back into the 5 a.m. being a 5 a.m. girly. Went to the gym today. Gonna go tomorrow.
that's
I'm like,
right.
this body is
Summer
not
bodies is made in
gonna
the winter.
okay. It's not
Exactly.
myself, and I don't have 20K plus to sit on nobody's table. So
Right.
therefore, I'm going to the gym.
But also it builds discipline. So it's
Yeah.
like when I have discipline and I create a routine, I'm in the gym and my body's right. So then now I'm working out, my money's right. Like everything literally works together. Once you build discipline in one area, it continues to trickle down into every other area. So
And
it's
you
just
start
like it's right.
you start to feel good about yourself. You start to see like results. And yeah, I'm here for it. Like, get in the gym, y'all.
Definitely get in the gym. And I also say invest in a trainer if you can.
Yeah.
if you can, because it's a game changer, because sometimes you need that extra push.
So, my last question to you, is there any advice you can give to the listeners who feel stuck or like they're not enough to boss up?
First of all, you are enough, and that's what starters. You can't just tell yourself, you have to genuinely believe it. The first step, I would say, you have to take it all to God. So you need to write it out, and then you need to pray it out, and you need to say, God, what do you need me to do? How can I show up as the woman that I want to be? How can I open up the door and allow her to arrive? What is going to be the steps? Please give me the discernment that I need. You got to pray in detail. Don't hit God with that. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord. Don't hit God with that nonsense. He is a real person, and he wants to hear real things come out of your mouth. Not that rehearsed stuff that you heard from the Sunday school 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You got to get vulnerable. It be times where I be like, God, I'm effed up down here. Like, what's going on? Shift my mind. It all starts with the mind. Once you could train the mind, there is nothing that you can't do. But with the mind, you want God to be in control of it. You want the Holy
Yeah.
Spirit to have control of it. So, because you don't want to be tricked. Because you could mess around and invite the wrong things into your mind, your spirit, your space. And they can make you feel better, but it can be bad in the long haul. And what I mean by the wrong thing is sometimes people take the route of where they're worshiping idols. Do not worship these people online. Do not worship these celebrities. Do not
Uh,
put any of these people as your God or the forefront of your life, because
yeah.
they will take you down the wrong path. The only person you should be following is God, and He will get you right. He had a plan for your life since you was in your mother's womb. So just think about it. This life has already been planned out for you, but He gives us a choice, like He gave Adam and Eve. So it's
Okay.
like you could have this choice to have the apple, or you could not eat the apples. Or it's our choice to figure out if we're going to do it His way, or think we better and do it our way and suffer the consequences. So it's just like, be patient, but pray and be consistent.
Hmm.
Be consistent and remind yourself why you are important. You are important enough to show up for. It's all in the mindset. You have to, once you start shifting the mindset and showing up for yourself, it's a game changer.
That was a gem. I feel like whoever's listening, whoever's watching, just like you just spoke to me, and I know that this word would hit for somebody. If it hits for one, we did our job. Um,
Exactly.
but heavy on like praying. You have to pray not just when things are bad, but you have to pray even when the things are good.
Mm-hmm.
You have to pray when things are going like great in your life, because when that storm hits, when that darkness hits, when you're going through something,
Exactly.
like I feel like I could be wrong. I feel like it'll hit, but it won't hit as hard.
It's hard because
Yeah,
you're prepared. Your
because you're like
your
yeah,
faith is
you're
so
spiritually
strong.
intertwined with God. Like you still have that connection. You're praying to Him and thanking Him when things are great. So you need to thank Him while you're going through your storm,
Exactly.
while bad, while you have no money in your pocket, while you lost your job. I know it's easier said than done, but you have to really
Have
be.
to.
So that was a word, and I appreciate you for that. Problem. Is there anything else you would like to leave the listeners with, like where they can reach out, where they could connect with you further?
You guys definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to watch the visual podcast. I also do travel vlogs on there as well. It's Broken to Boss. And I also have Broken to Boss on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, available on both. And also, if you want to follow me on TikTok, I'm at That's the Goddess _ If you want a little jokey joke, a little laugh, 'cause that's where I get
For
my raw, authentic self there.
sure.
My
We'll give you a
daily
laugh.
dose.
Even give you some tea, because
Yeah,
I tapped into stories, girl.
and I will put y'all on everything I know, okay? That's it. If I get a little information, I'm like, let me go and tell the TikTok real quick.
Yup.
Come on, just in case they didn't know.
And
But
we be
yeah,
waiting.
anybody who's listening to this, I want you to know that you matter, and that your story matters, and your lane and your journey is important. You don't understand that your journey is allowing you to pass the baton to somebody else. So don't delay that opportunity by being so unsure about yourself. You need to be more sure about yourself. You need to have the same, I always say, Godfidence. You need to have that Godfidence inside of you so you could be able to prosper to a level where you're able to touch other people who are supposed to be anointed by the power of your tongue. Aww. Or the power of your actions. Everybody plays a role in this lifetime. So don't delay somebody else's growth because you're afraid to show up for yourself.
Amen. That's a word. Clock that T. See now, this is why I invited Destiny on to the Vulnerable Room. Destiny, thank you so much
Oh my
for
God, it's been a pleasure. I love it here at the Vulnerable Room.
thank you so much for coming on, dropping hella gems. Cause like I said, even though you were speaking to the listeners, you were speaking to me too. And just being unapologetically you, as always. We definitely have to do this again because I feel
Absolutely.
we have some more topics that we can relate on.
I love it.
But thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
No problem. I had a blast. Next time, this is going to require some cocktails too.
Yep. But thank you guys for tapping into today's episode. Be sure to tap into Destiny's podcast and be sure to continue to look out for more episodes for season 4. So, love you guys. Be safe. Bye.
Bye.
Come on, y'all. We know these combos ain't for the faint. Thank you for listening to the Vulnerable Room podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, head on over to Anchor or Spotify to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Follow at The Vulnerable Room on Instagram or visit thevulnerableroom.com for the latest tea. See you next time. Love you all and have a great week.